This is the first time I've been back at the VSL studio since the qualifier. Reva's not the only one who feels out of place. It looks like a school. I'm about to send her another text when I catch the top of her head coming up the stairs. Get lost in the subway again? My apologies, this is my first time at the VSL studio. Google Maps, it exists for a reason. Oh really? You've never tried to qualify or come to spectate? She shakes her head. That's a huge surprise considering she's local. It's easy enough to follow the VSL online, but nothing beats the live experience watching the round of 4 in... Round of 4? You mean the semi-final? Round of 4. In person was one of the first things I did here in Seoul. Jet and Stunt are probably waiting for us. Come on. Ooh, pretty. Hang on, why are there 4 booths? This is for 2 players versus 2 players. This is not competitive. Who's taking the piss? Come on. Be honest. Nearly every seat in the spectator area of the VSL studio is taken. It's only with a wave from Jet and Reva and I are ushered past the back rows and into our seats over on the side. Stunt is seated beside Jet and acknowledges us with a smile. With how differently the 4 of us are dressed, it'd be hard for anyone to tell we're actually a team. That's why we're going to get a uniform. That's probably what this is leading to. Well, I guess technically we're not a team yet, not officially anyway. With the thought in my mind, I look to Jet and keep my voice low. Do we have a uniform planned? See, I'm a reader of minds. Oh, hell yeah, I want a team jacket. The uniform we pick comes from the team's war chest. It's stupid for us to splurge when we don't have any results. Stunt's longing stare doesn't fade away until Jet focuses a glare in his direction. So we have to win. Fuck, that's never going to happen. Oh well, no uniform. We didn't need it anyway. The production crew is busy at work behind the scenes. There are way more VSL staff members than the steam lets on stream even. People with clipboards and headsets pace the studio frantically, moving from team benches to behind the booths and then back again. Accel sits on the end of the bench and with the rest of the crash. Their coach, a balding man with small eyes, a red nose and a clip-on tie, paces back and forth with his hands in the pockets of his blazer. Most coaches are unusually retired players or have management experience. This guy has got either the latter or nothing. It wouldn't surprise me to learn that he's never played a game of StarCraft in his life. Then what's he doing here? That can't be true. The players of Team KAine sit on the opposite side of the studio. Their coach is far more subdued than the one I actually recognised. An old B-tier Brood War player, pro even, that aged out of his ability to compete. I don't get that. How can you age out? Your reflexes slower when you hit 30 than 20? That makes no sense. It might do, I don't know. Oh, hello. Random rock music. That took me by surprise. Stunt leans over to Jet to whisper something. But before he can open his mouth, the Victory Star League's theme song cuts in to announce that the broadcast is about to get started. Korean Star Leagues have a weird fascination with alt-rock. Is this alt-rock though? It sounds like standard rock. The same songs from my embarrassing freshman year playlist blast unabashedly to stadiums of esports fans. The crowd cheers die down only once the commentators their introductions. I presume begin is missing in that sentence. When I look over my shoulder I can see the table where they keep the 2 English casters. Yeah, over there somewhere, in the back, it's fine. No one wants to hear them. The duo is more love for their laid-back banter than their game analysis, not that it's anything I'd change. There's no way for me to hear them without getting a headpiece that'll make me look like a tourist. I'll have to settle for the Korean commentator. Settle? Racism right there, whoa. Welcome to VSTL. Today's first match is an exciting duel between Crash and KAine. Both are very solid teams that have been around from the very beginning of StarCraft 2. I'm eager to see whether or not they show us good games. They probably will. I doubt they're just going to stop playing. Analyst. Analyst. You couldn't put that as a name. Really? Come on. This is the furthest that KAine has been since the beginning of our StarCraft 2 Team League. Crash will need to make it to VSTL finals if they wish to share their accomplishment. Indeed, they have a challenging path ahead of them, but I'm certain they are capable of returning to their former glory. My thoughts are the same. Jesus Christ, these two are formal, aren't they? Go on, you're supposed to sum things up in a little less words than that, Jesus. Only one of KAine's players remains in the VSL. so they should have had plenty of time to practice for this match. Can the same be said of Crash? Certainly so. Crash is... oh god, this is... okay, awesome. I'm just skipping past that. That was dull. Well, there won't be any jokes about cartoons from the 90s, but I should stay pretty well informed throughout the series. An array of multicoloured overhead lights announce the first match. Polished motion graphics and meticulously collected player statistics whiz around the display at the front of the studio. The VSL studio really has hype building down to a science. Who do you think Crash is going to send out first, Jet? Not Accel unless they want him getting sniped right off the bat. I know the common strategy in Team League is to have a mid-tier player spend all of his practice time preparing specifically for one heavy hitter. There are other things to take into account too, like the map or remaining opponents, but there's no doubt that Team KAine has one of their best players ready to take down Accel. By the time I glance back at the stage, the first two players are headed onto the booths. Accel remains on the bench, eyes set on the same screen into the crowd. You see, the excitement of this scene is dying round just because of how many wordy fucking paragraphs there are. It's so wordy for something that's just supposed to be, yeah, hi, we're at VSL, it's a team league, they're gonna kill each other. No, it's like that. By the time I glance back up at the stage, the first two players are headed to the... oh god, I'm bored. It is starting. Yes, well done, Reaver. Sure enough, once the players have... I mean, it's again, sure enough, you could get rid of that. Once the players have their settings prepared and their coaches give the go-ahead, the match begins easy. Like, spawning in at the 7 o'clock position for Team Crash is the red Protoss player Jangle. Jangle. What a name. His opponent from Team KAine is the 2 o'clock base Shing. Protoss v Protoss, close positions, this match won't last long. Mirror matchups are so stupid. PvP are most of all. So mirror matchups is just the same race. So Protoss vs Protoss, Zerg vs Zerg, Terran vs Terran. You got it? Awesome. You don't know the intricacies. It can sometimes be really intense. Literally every strategy is a coin flip. PvP should be considered gambling and made illegal. PvP usually ends up with both players on one base. The decision to expand is often too great a risk, especially with the players as close as they are. More so than any other matchup, mind games are essential to securing an advantage. Reach too far with aggression against a balanced strategy, you lose. Go middle of the road against a tech build, you lose. Tech up against an attack, you lose. Jangle and Shing have both offered for a 4 warp gate strategy. A 4 warp gate strategy, the one that all of the kids use. Warp gate, it's just 4 gate. This is an aggressive cheese. Prepare to watch these two clash. It will all come down to their control. Or that can happen too. Even with Jet's grumbling stunt looks like he's enjoying himself. After all, this is the type of game he loves. River's paying attention, though likely only to note the efficiencies of the Crash and KAine. Both of the Protoss players complete the building necessary for their attack simultaneously, but it's their Team Crash player who's out of the map first. A proxy pylon near the KAine's base. Why did they keep the KAine's player's base? Like, KAine's base, that's all that needs to be said there. Will allow for quick frontline reinforcements. Things would be going perfect for Crash if not for one small problem. The attack was spotted. Rather than answer with his own attack, the KAine player is holding his units back at home. And he's hiding half of them in a small corner of his base. Ooh, just out of vision. I realise what's happening just as the Crash player makes his move. Without the proper intel on his opponent, he feints the motion at his opponent's ramp in the hopes of learning what he's up against. But the KAine player doesn't even budge. No force field, no panicked chrono boost, nothing. No defense at all. I mean, it's obvious what force field is. I don't think I have to explain that to you. After a moment's hesitation, the Crash player charges up the ramp fully, confident that he's caught his opponent in a moment of weakness. For a moment, it looks like it was the right move. He heads forward to disable the KAine infrastructure, and has his exit cut off. The KAine player reveals his hidden units and surges into the Crash force. So, see, those are the stalkers here. He's gone up the ramp with 2 of them, and these ones he couldn't see before. They've come in. This little unit here has created a force field, so he can't run back down. These 2 die easily. See? It's a trap, if you would. And has its exit cut off, yeah, blah blah blah. Even though the battle begins with the 2 at an even unit count, the force field preventing the Crash player's retreat also keeps his reinforcements from joining with his main army. Despite some excellent unit control, the dwindling Crash army is devoured by the ambush. Jangle taps up with a GG and the first game goes to KAine. An exceptional trap by Xing. The key was the position of his 3 extra gateways. He allowed the Crash player to catch sight of a single gateway, which led him to believe that there was a hidden tech at the back of his base. Excellent tactical thinking. Indeed it... Oh, come on! I know! Would you have gotten this far in a game about StarCraft 2 without knowing what StarCraft 2 was about? I've already explained this. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. That could not have been more stupid. This is what happens in a matchup where scouting past the 3-minute mark is impossible. KAine is fortunate the Jangle hesitated. Had he disabled the forward gateway in time, Crash would have been victorious. I aim my attention back at the Crash bench to see who they're sending out next. Accel turns back and whispers to one of his teammates and he starts heading for the booth. Finally, some ZVP. Better hope the Xing's all-ins aren't as pitiful as your stunt. 2 minutes later, the Crash Zerg stands cross-map from the KAine player. So hang on, what team is Accel in? I think he's in KAine, isn't he? The match opens off slowly, but a sudden greedy opening from the KAine Protoss elicits a call for attention from the commentators. How bold! The map does not lend itself to a Nexus first, yet he has planted one down without pause. He's translating that. That didn't sound natural. And it seems that it will be going unpunished. With one victory already, it seems KAine decided now was an appropriate time to take a risk. This spells bad news for Crash. With the Protoss economy established so quickly, Zerg will struggle to survive his powerful mid-game attack. Hang on, wasn't he blue just a second ago? Or am I... Oh, I can't even go back and watch it. Well, I may be speaking out my ass. Who knows? The commentator's warning shows itself to be a well-informed one. The Crash player realises his disadvantaged position too late. From inside the booth, he looks visibly shaken. Do people not create other units other than Stalkers? I've seen one sentry. Everything's been Stalkers. Xing marches across the map with the 8-minute mark with an absurd number of Blink Stalkers. Blink is... If you played any game ever, you should know what Blink is. Not bothering to clear the watchtowers on the way over. His unscouted forward pylon allows him to power forward unchecked. If you have a pylon near the enemy's base and you have warp gate technology research, it means you can spawn in units at that pylon. So that's why it being unscouted is so bad. The Crash Zerg's clumsy defense is painful to watch. The game was decided at the 2-minute mark, even if it took the Protoss another 7 to play it out. Yeah, that's what he gets for not scouting. That was embarrassing. Not my preferred all-in style, but I'll admit it has its merits. A sudden realization that 3 out of 4 of us are on camera puts our conversation on pause. The VSL loves to show foreigners and girls in the breaks between the games on stream for whatever reason. Reva shields her face and glances away. That's not shielding her face, she's just turned around angrily and slightly sweating. And glances away while I wave and watch myself on screen with an undeniably awkward expression. The cameraman makes the mistake of panning past us to focus solely on Jet. Not a second later, the scene switches back to the casters. What kind of idiot doesn't drone scout? He went pool first. It was an easy slow ling rally for the win. The map lends itself to a typical Zerg playstyle. He missed... yeah, come on. You don't really need to know this. You're aware. Yeah. It's boring stuff. It's analysis. It won't matter. Quiet. 0-2 isn't impossible to come back from. It's not, considering there are normal 4 or 5 players. But Jet's confidence falters a minute into the third game. The KAine Protoss immediately sends a probe cross-map intent on deciding the game with an early rush. Scout around your natural moron, it takes 2 seconds. As if he somehow heard the order through his booth's soundproof foam, the Crash Zerg catches sight of the proxy gateways as they finish constructing. Probably a bit late, for being honest. A moment later and the game would have been decided. How will the Zerg react? He responds by throwing down static defense in his main. That's... That thing there, this is a creep tumor that has this thing on the ground spreads. It means you can move faster. And this here, imagine it is just like a cannon. Alright, that's what it is. A good option since the pair of stationary spine crawlers are too strong to contest with the few zealots. The hatchery finishes despite Protoss' efforts to force a cancel. The hatchery being it's you develop your base and it means you can create other units. It looks like Crash is going to stabilize here, or would if not for... No, what are you doing? Stop! Jet takes 2 fistfuls of her own hair when the Zerg uproots a spine crawler and begins moving it down the ramp. The Protoss reaction is instant. The KAine rushes in to take the fight with them remaining static defense. You can move these cannons, but once they're moving, they mean it can't attack, and it takes a while to get back into the ground as well. That's why that was so awful. Even with a handful of Zerglings and a Queen aiding, the Spine Crawler falls with only a single casualty for the Protoss. An unmistakable blunder. He aimed to defend his natural expansion with the second Spine Crawler, but failed to wait until he had enough Zerglings. Zerglings... Oh, come on, you must know what Zergling means. It's like that. They're like small units. Such impatience is going to cost Crash the game and perhaps the series. With the free pick-off, it's not long until the KAine player snowballs his lead into the victory. One of his teammates charges into the booth and claps his back a dozen times, both of them smiling through some banter. It's a stark difference from the Crash bench. All save Accel look ready to accept defeat. Oh, so he plays for Crash. What did I know? With a calm look back at his coach and a nod, he rises to replace his fallen teammate. It seems that Crash will send Accel as their final player. Will he be able to prevent an all-kill from Xing? We must take into account KAine's morale. The moment in this series certainly favours a fourth and final victory. Accel, do not lose. A few of the people seated in front of Jet wince at the volume of her jeer, turn around, stare, and then realise they were about to shush a VSL champion. By the time she's finished signing off her phone case from one of them, she doesn't seem like the kind of person who'd do that. Accel is in the booth and ready to go. Think he can bring it back, Reaver? No single player on KAine can match Accel. Oh, good. He's already going to lose. Thanks for jinxing it, Reaver.